Got it. Hello, everyone. Okay, get us started. Admit all. Yeah. Yes.
Would you like to sell that big stuff that we get, the blue stuff that we sent them for the fields?
Hang on 1 second. Let me pause the recording so I don't need to. Let me see. So we have a couple more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. So let me just let everyone in. Oh, look, it's Miss Marion again. Good to see you. We spent the day together yesterday too.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. I've got my little kit ready. So I know some of you just did your own thing, but we did kit them and we're doing more right now. I think we've done over like 100 of them. And the last time Lori goes, she's like, should I do more than that? I'm like, no, I can't imagine they'll keep. And then I think it was just like in the last day or two, it was like 30 more kits. So we're cutting like crazy. So here's your kit. Other things that you're gonna need, hopefully I didn't take it out of here, is you need pre-wound bobbins. Well, they don't have to be pre-wound, but you need to wind some bobbins. Let me let these people in. So colors that you should probably do are gonna be, just the colors we're using. So like the green, the gold, the brown. So if you want to wind some bobbins right now, we'll have some matching bobbins. Let me grab the sample too. You know, I did try to do a pre-recorded video and it was so bad. I just couldn't even post it. I kept going, wait a minute. You don't want to do that. And so it was just like, there was just no way to salvage it. But today we together are going to kill it. So I just thought that'll be the video that we'll have up from this shop. And I have 12:59. So what we're working on is we are going to be working on, here we go. Kimberbell's, oh wait, let me switch my camera. Let me switch my angle. We're going to be working on this project today. And it's just a really cute little jar topper. If we have a chance, we may or we may not do the tag, but the tag is included in your kit. So in the back of the kit, if you did get a kit from us, in the front are all the goodies for the jar topper. And in the back is the stabilizer folded over with the leather, the white leather for the tag. So that's what's in the kit. Those are the two things that are in there. And if you still want a kit, we're going to make more. Because I can't say no. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to take it down. And that's it. And then I just couldn't say no when people wanted more. I was like, okay, I'll just make more. So let's go ahead and we can get started. So we are going to do the wide mouth. Well, I'm going to be stitching out the wide mouth. If you want to do the regular mouth, you can do that. The very first project, like with the jar toppers that we did, was the I want to say it was the bat jar topper, and I did that with the regular mouth. And then since then, I've always done the wide mouth. Graydon stitched this out when we first got started. She's somebody new in our store. She's actually one of Violet's best friends from high school, and she works here, and she's so wonderful. And I was like, hey, go stitch this out for me. She'd like never been on the luminaire before. I just threw her in the back room and she just muddled her way through. And she did pink for the little top. So, but we're going to be doing black. which is harder to see. So let's go ahead and put our design in. Other things that you're going to need, I like have my thread right here. I've got my pre-wound bobbins, my kit, my instructions, and then I have, these are my goodies that have all my favorite scissors, my USB, my hoop tightener, my tape. All of that is going to be in here. Yes, Patrick. Oh my God, Patrick's coming in and bothering me right now. Yeah, I ate before I came. Yeah. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and when you choose your design, the first part is going to be regular and we want wide mouth. If you're going to do wide mouth, you can go ahead and do the regular mouth. And I need to grab my hoops. I'm like ahead of myself. I think it's the coffee. I had to like drink it down because I went upstairs and all of a sudden I could hear a teacup like rattling on the table. And I ran downstairs and Poppy was sitting in the chair, drinking my coffee. Okay, where am I? I'm here, February pot of gold. Let's go ahead and let's use the book so I don't lead you astray. And the colors that I'm using, and I put this in, I'm glad you're joining me too. The colors I am using are I don't have my shamrock, my bright green. Okay, I'll just grab one from here. Shamrock, black, sand, coffee bean, and sage. And look, I don't have, I prepared myself this morning. I thought I was on top of it. Obviously not, but we'll make some substitutions. And then I checked again this afternoon, but I must not have done it well. Let's go ahead and heat up our irons because we're going to put the fusible backing on the coin-based fabric. So let's heat up our iron. People are still joining us. They're still rolling in. This is my favorite iron. Oh, look. And it must not be plugged in. Power always helps. And if you grab your kit, here we go. There's a lot of stuff in here, so don't lose anything. I'm really talking to myself right now. And you should have a piece of, hang on, people are still coming. I'm letting them in. Hang on, let me do it from my computer. Admit. Okay, this piece, you also have a piece of Shape Flex, and it's going to be a little smaller than the back. So just kind of center it, and then we're going to press it down. Did I wait long enough? Was my light red? Yes. And then let's go hoop. We're going to hoop our wash away stabilizer, just one piece of wash away in our 5x7 hoop. So let's grab our 5x7. And let's grab some wash away stabilizer. Okay, your stabilizer, you have one that is like, I don't know, the design is a little bit bigger than the other one. This is your cutaway and this is your wash away. So make sure you're grabbing the right one. Here, I'm going to show them to you one more time in case you're new and stabilizers confuse you. This one is no show and this one is your wash away. Some companies call it dissolve away. Wash away, dissolve away. And this one is a cutaway. They call it no show mesh, mesh. It can get confusing. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here.
Hey, Jeannie, are there two pieces of that?
Oh, yeah, you should have two pieces of wash. We have 4 hoopings in this project. So there's 4 pieces of stabilizer in your kit. Don't double it up. Don't double this one up. You also have a bigger piece that's going to be for the tag. You should have a piece that looks like this that's going to fit your 5x7. And we are going to be doing 4 hoopings today. So I'm just going to go ahead and push this. down. Mine's pretty snug, so I don't need to tighten it. I can just tell. But if you need to, go ahead and hand tighten this. And then you can use your little hoop screwdriver. And then you can tighten it a little bit more. Just put it on here until it catches and tighten it a little bit more. Mine's really snug, so I don't need to tighten it anymore. I like to rub my hand on this and make sure it's nice and flat. Hooping is an art, and you want to make sure you're hooped well. Everyone is just showing up. It's like we're having a party and everyone's just kind of strolling in right now. Okay, we are going to go ahead and we're going to load this part of our design, the little feet, and those are the handles for the cauldron. And before I forget, we're going to bring up our bobbin thread for all these steps, or you're going to have a rat's nest, a bird's nest on the back, which that was one of my issues. Like, because they didn't say that in their instructions. And so after I did it, there were like so many cuts, and this is supposed to be like double-sided, you know? So if you don't care, don't worry about it. But if you do and you're particular, which I can be, then we are going to be bringing up our bobbin thread. And that was one of the things where I was like, oh, I wish they had written that in there, because it just like, there were so many cuts. I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. As far as our bobbin color for right now, let's go ahead, and if you don't have it, because it says match the bobbin color to match the top thread, I want you to wind a matching bobbin right now. And I'm going to be, I'm just going to be using this. I know I said sage and I meant to bring sage, but I brought clover instead. So I'm going to be using clover, and I have a little matching bobbin right here. This one. If you don't have it, wind one right now. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to put my bobbin in. I'll give you a minute to wind your bobbin. Don't panic. We're here to have fun. Okay, let's get sewing. I'm just kidding. Wind your bobbin. I will give you a little chance to do that. And while we're stitching, you can wind your other bobbin. If you have like a spot on top to wind a bobbin, you can wind that while you're stitching, which I think is, I'm always scared to do it. Like, does it really work? Oh my God, it does. All right, bobbin in, hoop your dissolve away, slide on your hoop, and let's load our design. You should be stabilized. For a minute, I lost my fabric. Here's my fabric, and you should have your shape flex adhered to the very back of it, just like this. And I'm going to bring my design up. It's going to be the second one. Well, you could do regular mouth, but I am doing wide mouth. So I'm going to select this one. And the one we're selecting are the little legs with the cauldron handle. This was from class yesterday. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to get rid of this image. Okay. And that's what you should have on your screen. I personally like to choose my hoop size, just so I know how much room I have. And to do that, all you need to do is go to your settings. And I'm going to select my 5x7 hoop. You may have to arrow through, but go ahead and find your 5x7 hoop. Select that. And let's stitch fast. I don't want anyone at 600 stitches per minute. You're going to fall behind today. But that's your default. It's in a black box. Don't be scared. There's going to be some times where we might slow it down, but let's just go ahead and stitch at 1,050 stitches per minute. Some of you might have a machine that stitches at 800. That's your top speed. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it here on the default. We'll group together and make sure that nobody gets left behind. Normally what happens is they're going to be a third of you will be ahead of me, a third of you will be with me, and a third of you will be behind me. And that's just kind of how it works when we have a large class. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And are we ready to go? Hopefully you have your bobbin done. I'm going to go ahead and touch embroidery. And it says load part A. We did that. Change the bobbin thread to match the top thread. Stitch the leg placement line directly on the stabilizer. We do not need to bring your bobbin thread up for that. We're going to be bringing your bobbin thread up when we do this stitching, like on the legs. So let me go ahead and thread my machine. I didn't even put my thread in yet. So thread up your machine. and stitch leg placement directly on the stabilizer. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And let's stitch that leg placement. And you want to get your pieces of felt. You're looking for your green felt. And you have 2 pieces. I am not a taper. You know me, I'm a sprayer. So I'm going to be using Ganol KK100. This is the spray that I'm going to be using. And this is my spray tent where I'm going to be spraying today. So, and if you're taping, go ahead and tape. Tape for me is kind of difficult with felt because it kind of sticks to the fibers in it. I would just use the Kimberbell tape. Don't use the transport. It's too sticky for this. So I'm just going to give it a light spray. Ooh. There we go. And that's going to keep your spray from getting all over your room. And if you look at your instructions, it wants you to place your leg felt completely, covering the placement line, tape in place, and then you're going to turn to the back. Go ahead and turn to the back and place the remaining felt covering the leg placement line. I'm going to slide off the hoop and do my back first. I'm just going to lay this down, covering it. I'm going to flip it over and I can see that I'm covering the whole thing. And then I can see my corners aren't turned under either. And now I'm going to put this one down on front. All right, once you get one down, just cover it. You should be in the same spot, but you can confirm that you've gotten that whole stitch. All right, let's go ahead and slide it back on. And now it wants you to stitch the leg tack down line. So stitch the leg tack down line and trimming line. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. Wait, should we bring up our bobbin thread? I think those spots are going to get covered, but let's just be on the safe side. So you're not going to have all that ugly stitching. This is how you bring up your bobbin thread. You're going to hold your upper thread in one hand. You're going to touch your needle down and your needle up. Your foot should be up. If it's not up, put your foot up. Just hit your foot up button right here. And then don't pull up. I want you to reach underneath your foot because you want to just grab that bottom thread and keep it below. And I can see my my bobbin thread. It's little. So I'm going to use tweezers. If you've got really strong fingers, just grab it with your fingers. But I'm going to use my tweezers to grab that. If I can find my tweezers, here you are. I love you, tweezers. These are my favorite, the precision tip. I'm going to grab that. Okay. Grab both your threads, hold them in one hand. You can put your foot down if your machine needs that and just hit start. And that way we're going to have nice, clean legs on the back. I'm going to stop my machine and I'm going to go ahead and trim those threads so they don't get sewn down. When that bobbin thread is that short, you have to, yeah. I mean, I can grab it once in a while, but yeah, tweezers will make it so much easier for you. And not all tweezers they're not all created equal. Like these precision tips, these are made by Femori. We also carry the Tula pink ones if you want the really pretty ones, but they really like you grab everything. Okay, just get used to that. We're going to be using our tweezers to bring up that bobbin thread. So that was our tack down line and our trim line. Oh, look at what I wrote on here. Trim pretty on the legs. Don't make it all messy looking because that's what you're going to be seeing. Remove the tape. I don't have any tape. Trim the felt close to the stitch line. I trimmed mine probably about like an 1/8 of an inch. Here's Graydon's. Look how pretty she made hers. That's all you're going to see are these parts of the legs. So don't worry about like the top, and the feet are going to be hidden too. But the legs, make your legs gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to move this here so I can do some trimming. When I'm trimming pretty, I'm going to use my curved straight scissors. which are going to be these. This curve to go over the edge of the hoop, and then the straight edge so I can control that line. And so don't forget, this bottom part doesn't have to be so great, neither the this. It's kind of just the legs themselves. Go ahead and trim. And we're going to be trimming front and back. Don't want to do this are the curves because you're going to get little smiley face cuts. And again, this part here doesn't have to look that great. Just the straightaway. Those are going to go into the shoe. Okay, here we go. Pretty. Make it pretty. And this doesn't matter. He's going to be going down into the coins. So this part here doesn't make a difference. You're doing the back too. So flip it over to the back. Go ahead and trim. That little thread here. We're going to keep as we can in the back. We were cutting it close with the design, huh? Part of me goes, maybe I won't do it on the 2nd again. Maybe we'll just do the next Friday. Next month's the sampler. Kits are on the site if you need a kit, and Michelle's going to be doing that with you. And we just finished all the kits for the, there's like a little roll up. It's like for, I don't know, you could put like crochet hooks in it or pens and pencils. So it's not on the site yet, but we'll get that up next week. We're on top of it. We're trying to be on top of it. We're never really on top of it here. What part are we doing first, and what stabilizer should I hoop? So there are 2 different stabilizers, Miss Donna. You're going to be hooping this piece is 9 by 12 inches, and you're doing the dissolve away. And we are stitching out this part right here. So the wide mouth, it's the legs and it's the cauldron handles. So just go ahead and hoop up a piece of dissolve away. Dissolve away. Look how, is that just so cute? And it just looks so good because, not because of me, but because those scissors, because I'm using the right tool. So you definitely want a pair of straight curved in your stash. And I'll give you a minute to just finish trimming. I can see some heads down, so I know you're working hard. We have 3 pages. Let's see who's here today. Some of you I know are waiting for your kits, and those will be sent out soon. And then we have a bunch of people without their cameras on, and that's okay. Maybe bad hair day, or just running around in your undies. I'm just kidding. Because that's how I like to sew. I'm just kidding with you. I'm in my sewing room and I do not, and it's always cold down there. So I can promise you I am not sewing in my undies. Once you are done trimming, and you should remove all your tape, we're going to stitch the legs outline. Lynn's eating lunch. Legs outline and placement guide. So there's an outline stitch. And the color's the same. So it says to just use the same green. What I put on my list was sage. What I'm using is clover. But that's okay. It looks good too. There we go. So I'm going to go. Are we still trimming? I've been told I'm a fast trimmer. And I switch my hands. I'm looking. Oh, somebody's trying to get in. Here we go. Let's let them in. And when you're done trimming, just look up and I'll know that we're ready. How's that light in there, Miss Lori?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I got two of them and it helps so much.
They're so nice. Donna, are you good? Do you know where we're at right now? Donna's ready for bed. She's going to stitch and then she's going to go to sleep. All right. And if you want to go, you can just go ahead and hit start. And then it is going to do that outline stitch. Leg outline and placement guide. Gold fabric.
You need to pull up the thread.
Yeah, we probably should have pulled up the thread and I just panicked for a minute going, oh my God, do I need gold fabric? Not yet, right? No, we're not doing any gold fabric yet, but yes, we should have pulled it up and guess what? I didn't. So I'm just going to keep going because it's too late for me, but I would go ahead and pull up that thread. And when I'm done stitching, I'm going to turn it to the back and just trim away any little knots or not the knots, but the threads that I can get to. So yes, sorry about that. Bring up your bobbin thread. Oh, what is the first fabric? The first fabric is going to be your felt. And you should have two pieces, Donna. You're going to put one on the front and one on the back. Yeah, who's going to be my resident? Bring up your thread reminder. Whoever wants to be can be my resident thread reminder. I need all the help I can get. And after you do this, you're going to be doing more of that Kelly green. So grab a brighter green and a matching bobbin. And if you don't have a matching bobbin, I want you to wind one. I'm looking for one so I can wind one so you're not scared. I don't have any empty bobbins here. There's lots of wound ones. Don't be scared. If you need to wind a bobbin while you're stitching, and you have an extra spool pin up here like I do on the luminaire, there's a secondary motor here. So you can be stitching and wind that bobbin at the same time. Okay, let's see how bad it looks on the back because I'm going to go ahead and trim any threads. It's not too bad. Like there, you see that? But I'm just going to trim these away. And we can do this later too. I'm just going to trim these. And he's just decorative, so I don't know what this is. But I'm just going to keep him nice and tidy. So he's got gorgeous legs. Or she. Be my female leprechaun. Okay, so that was step number 10. Now it says change the bobbin thread to match the top thread. So we're going to be doing more of a Kelly green, and it's going to be the stripes on the legs right here. So I want you to go ahead. I just found this one. This was just in our stash. So I'm going to use this, even though I did bring one. I love using up bobbins. I love using up bobbins, and I love using up thread. I'm always like, oh, I used up a spool, and I feel really productive, but it happens rarely, I feel like. Embroidery bobbins I use up like crazy. You know, just the white ones. I don't feel like I use anything else up. Okay, we are in step 11. We're going to look at, because I can't remember, here's my next reminder. Bring up bobbin thread for these steps. And I'm using this. This is just, we have a set of exquisite thread that we use here in the sewing room. I like to show this to people I do not cut my thread and pull it down from here, but I unthread it. Make sure your foot is up. That's foot down. That is foot up. And I unthread it. I don't pull. I just unthread right to here and it just comes right out. So you can go ahead, just unthread the top and rethread with your green. Or you could do, and you could have an edgy, you could be doing Halloween, right? This could be Halloween. You could be doing like purple and orange. That would be fun. This doesn't just have to be St. Patrick's Day. That witch would have some. It could be a warlock, Lynn. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up our bobbin thread. So it says stitch the stripe fill. I'm going to hold this. The issue with this is it's going to be cutting. So it's up to you. You might get, whoops, look at me. Here, I'm going to grab this. I was holding it. I didn't hit my needle down. I just hit start. If your thread is above the hole in the foot, I want you to thread the thread down through the hole so your upper thread is below the foot because that's going to keep it neat and tidy. And you're going to hold these two and go ahead and hit start. And if we're really bringing up our bobbin thread, we're going to stop it after each cut, which is going to be a pain. But if you're up for it, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And once you hear it cut, hit your start stop button right here. It's going to go to the next spot, but it's not going to start stitching. All right, foot up. I'm going to cut this. Okay, next one. Ready? Needle down, needle up. Grab from underneath. Use your tweezers if you need it. Hold them both and hit start. Like I said, if that is more than you want to do, just hit start. It's so worth the effort if you just want it to look clean on the back of the legs. Okay, after you hear the cut, hit the stop. Start, stop. It's going to go to the next spot, but it will not stitch. Okay, next one. Needle down, needle up. Reach under the foot because you want to keep that other thread down below. Grab the other thread, hit start. Irene came in and she's like, I want 15 sets because I want to make this as a gift. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because it was a lot of work. It's going to be cute and it's fun and we can learn some techniques. Still on step 10. Oh, you're almost there. Donna, you're just one step behind us. And look, this is going to take a while. Hit stop. Okay, foot up. Grab your upper thread, needle down, needle up. Reach under the foot, grab your thread. And if you want that bobbin thread too, hold them in one hand, hold it taut, and then start. I can tell you this looks a lot cleaner than my first one. I did the video and I was like, oh, look how cute it is. And I flipped it to the back and it just looked not good. Okay, there's my cut. I'm going to hit the stop, start, stop. I'm going to put my foot up. I'm going to trim the one from before. Grab my upper thread, needle down, needle up, reach under the foot and grab your thread and your bobbin thread. I just grabbed it with my fingers. Get ready to stop it. Once you hear the cut, Go ahead and hit your start stop. Put your foot up. Trim the last one. And I'm going to do one more. Needle down, needle up. This is our last stripe. Reach under. Hold your upper and your lower thread. I know you're not seeing that really that great, huh? Let me move that. And let it stitch, and then we'll trim this one. This, I think, is the last stripe. So it should stop after this. All right, I'm going to trim that. And there are our perfect stripes. We're going to slip our hoop off. How are we doing? We still doing our stripes? Go ahead and finish up your stripes. Those of you who are done with your stripes, you're going to just slide your hoop off. And we are going to be doing the shoe placement. And it looks really cute if you do it in your brown and not a matching color. Don't match it to the camel color. Do something that's going to be a little bit darker. You can turn your cutoff and then you can just trim the, that's a really good idea. You can just, will it drag the thread? Won't it drag? Turn off the cut? I guess you would, yeah, just cut the jump threads. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, maybe
You'll have more jump threads, but you'll have, and then you can just trim those, but you don't have those knots that are going to get everywhere.
Oh yeah, let's look at the back. I didn't even think about that. I've never done that before. So here's the back because we still have those. So if you're waiting, let's go ahead and just get rid of those now too. Yeah, these are from the ends. There we go. Looks pretty good. My hoop's off. I'm going to go ahead and put my brown thread in my bobbin. If you haven't wound a matching bobbin yet, should we try it? I'm scared. Should I try it, Heather? I don't want it to,
Oh yeah, I think you should try it.
okay, let's try it.
My oldest brought a tack, and so he goes, "Mom, why are you leaving all these knots? Do some jump stitches instead."
Oh
looked at him and says, "What?"
How clever. I've never tried that before. We're doing the shoes. I feel like it's not too high stakes. I don't think there's a lot of cutting and trimming, so maybe we could do that. Change the bobbin thread to match the top thread. Let's go ahead and change our top thread out. Just go ahead and unthread. Don't pull it back. And from right here, it just comes right out. Nice and easy. No more cutting and then pulling at the needle. I am using coffee bean. How do you turn off your jump threads? Let's go into our settings. I've never turned off my jump threads. Let's see. I know my multi-needle, I've never turned them off before. So let's go. When you are embroidery, it goes straight to your embroidery settings. So let's see. Thread unit, basting. I don't think it's an option. Let me see. Let me go back further.
It's going to be under your cut. You're going to turn your scissors off, your automatic cut.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that on the Luminaire. Oh, I know what you're talking about in here on this page right here. Okay. jump, stitch, trim, off.
There
Okay,
you go.
let's try it. Let's try it so we don't have the little cuts.
Where was that, Jeannie?
Jeannie, how did you do that?
Okay, ready? There
Nope.
we go. So it's not in your settings. It's going to be right down here. So that button that you can go to that I rarely go in here because I really don't adjust my tension. This is where you can go for your jump threads and adjusting your tension in embroidery. So the default's going to be blue on. And then if you touch it, that's going to be jump threads off. We'll go ahead and try it. We have to remember who's going to be our resident reminder that we want to turn this back on later on because you don't want to go to your next project and be like, well, I wasn't cutting my jump threads. So let's go ahead and try that. Kind of exciting. Okay, so it says stitch the shoe placement line. So we're going to do that first. You're going to have to manually hit your cut for this because we're going to cover this up over with the leather. So you want to go get your 2 pieces of leather. Yep, there's a jump thread. That's okay. Oh, so it's cutting it. It looks like it cut it at the end, but the ones within it pulled it along. So, and those are the ones that we don't want are the ones within. So here is our leather, and you are going to place your shoe leather right side up. We're going to turn to the back of the hoop. I'm going to put mine on the back first. And that way I can see it. I know my corners aren't getting turned under. I am going to tape. I'm not going to spray this. I'm going to go ahead and just tape this one down. I'm going to cut this, and we'll see if we like this. If this is going to be, look at that big old knotty thing right there. Entering the room. There we go. I want to make sure we're covering, so you can kind of peek under and make sure you're covering the whole thing. There we go. I'm going to put this on the side and put this on the side. Flip it to the front, and we are well covered. And I'm just going to cover that right there. So it is going to do the right side up, tape the corners, stitch the shoe, tack down, trimming line. Do not cut the leather at this time. And then stitch the shoe outline. And then we're going to stitch the shoe detail, removing all the tape. I almost wonder if we should turn our cutters back on for part of this. Yes.
This is for what you're doing right now.
24 inches is what I use. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to stitch the tack down trimming line. This is how you're going to trim it later on. So I'm going to put my foot down because I want to see how low this is. Because we're going to be adjusting our foot height at different times today. If the foot is going to be sitting right on top of our leather or pushing it. So why don't we go ahead and we are going to raise our foot height just a little bit. So, and when we're done, we're going to put it back to default. So everyone, you just don't want your foot sitting on it and pushing it. It should be like skimming. So we're going to go into our settings. Right now, I'm at a embroidery foot height of 0.060, and I'm going to raise it up to 0.080, just a little bit. And we're going to go probably even higher when we're doing the cauldron. So let's put it up. You can tell it's not in default. When you do put it back to default, you're going to know it's default because it's the one in black, but we're going to leave it at 0.08 for right now. Okay, let's go ahead and right now it's this is the tack down trim line. We're actually going to be cutting this line. That's going to be our trim line, not right now, but later on.
Do we pull up our thread again or no, not?
No, because you're going to cut this. This is actually going to get cut right off. For the pretty stuff on the inside, we're going to cut it. Let's cut that jump thread. Imagine if you had to cut all your jump threads all the time. That is going to be a line that we cut on, and that's how you trim it. So that's going to be this right around here. Grade and trim that out. Okay, now it says stitch the shoe outline. The outline is going to stay. So let's go ahead and bring up our bobbin thread for this. So grab your upper thread, touch your needle down, needle up, reach underneath your foot and grab that thread. And if you can grab the other one, grab the other one. Or if you need your tweezers, grab your tweezers. All right. And this one, I'm not sure, like, because it's got to go, you know what? Actually, yeah, this is going to make it pretty because there won't be a cut right here. Okay, go ahead and stitch this. This is step number 16, the shoe outline. It's going to be right inside of the cut line. Yep, no little knot there. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this though. Okay, that was step number 16 in our instructions. So what we did was this right now. That was just inside of the line that we're going to be trimming on. And now it wants you to stitch the shoe detail and remove all the tape. So just go ahead and hit start. And this is going to be the shoe detail. Oh, bring up your bobbin thread. I didn't bring it up. It's hard for me to remember that. Maybe that's why they didn't put it in the instructions. It was too hard to remember. It's going to do that cut and it won't do the a little ball of knot. Write it on the stabilizer. Yes, we should just write it right here. Bring up that bobbin thread. And that is going to save us from the knot right there, because it just went right over to the next spot. It's like thread central over here. I've got threads everywhere. Okay. I'm not going to forget this time. I'm going to bring it up, but I am going to go ahead. Let's, it wants you to remove all the tape right now. So I'm just going to take this time just to trim all this. Let's see how the back looks, because I did forget to bring up my bobbin thread. That's not too bad. And I think that does save us from having too many bird's nests. It looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, are any of you, so I don't know if any of you have ever stitched out fairy tales, but Gail Carson is here. I mean, is it fairy? Yeah, it's fairy tale. So that is just way too cute. Can you bring it a little closer? You got to see it, because how sweet is this? It is like, I love it. Someone's going to be very, very lucky. And you can have a totally different look. This one's mine up there with the peach, like the kind of peachy oranges. I love it. Beautiful. Who's it for? It's for a new, isn't that adorable? That is, that was the very, actually, I think it was the second one I did. That was the second embroidered quilt I did. The first one I did was this shop hop, and then I did that one. And that one to date is like, it's so sweet. It just, every time you start a new block, you're like, oh, this is my favorite. And then you do the next one, you're like, oh no, this one's my favorite. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good. Pretty good. And I'm just going to cut this thread right here. All right. It says remove all the tape. I like to follow instructions sometimes, so I'm going to remove all my tape. Next thing it wants you to do, did it say to remove all your tape? I thought it did. Stitch the shoe detail. Yes. Stitch the shoe detail and remove all the tape. Step number 18. Let's go ahead and change your thread. We're going to be doing the gold buckles. So before you slide your hoop back on, let's change out that bobbin thread. And I have a
Do we leave the tape
beautiful-
on the back or we take it out?
I took off the tape on my back too. Because it said all, so I was like, okay. I slide my hoop back on. I'm going to put my gold in, the color that the Kimberbell or color or the glide color that is most gold. And you could use Kingstar too if you have Kingstar, but I'm using sand. Sand makes me happy. Cheryl Palian, I found your flame. Your flame thread is here. And it was like somebody had put it on the shelf. I went to find something. I was like, oh my God, there's her thread. Okay. We're going to bring up our bobbin thread. Repetition's the mother of learning. Needle down, needle up. Reach under the foot. Where are my tweezers? I don't know, so I'm going to grab it. Oh, here they are. Okay. And then go ahead and stitch. We're going to stitch the buckle fill. And it's not going to cut the jump thread. It will go to the next buckle. You could stop it and trim this. I'm just kind of holding it out of the way. And this sand color, it's just so nice and shiny. Miss Donna, were you able to get all caught up? Hopefully. And now we're going to change to a black bobbin. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to trim these threads. How's the back? Looking good. I'm going to trim all these now. Okay, we're going to put in our black. And we're going to do the cauldron handles. Okay. I'm going to do, I can't remember if it's double-sided. It says stitch the cauldron handle placement line directly on the stabilizer. So just slide your hoop back on. Go ahead and get your black thread. You could turn on your jump stitch trim for this because this is going to get covered over. Or we could just leave it.
We have to move our needles down, back up, right? Or down?
Oh, our foot height, Anna? Anna,
height.
are you my resident foot height? Yeah, that foot's going to be too high. Let's change it back. So let's go back into our settings. Foot height back to default, which is 0.06 in the black. Go back to default. Thanks, Anna. You know what happens if your foot height is too high? We forget and it's too high, it causes your thread to shred. I know that sounds really weird, but your thread will shred. It just kind of throws off the timing and everything. So go ahead and stitch, and we are stitching directly on the stabilizer. And we're going to grab our felt. So you're going to place one cauldron handle felt completely covering the placement line and then turn it to the back. So you should have two little pieces of black felt. Here they are. We're going to put one piece on the back and one piece on the front. I'm just going to give them a little shot of spray. Okay. One on the back, one on the front. I'm going to put my back on first. Back. It's the sticky side front. Slide it on. And then it says stitch the cauldron handle, tack down line. Oh, I put in my notes, use gold so you can see your trim lines. Otherwise, you're trimming black on black. I think I did it first, and then I was like, oh, that worked out. So I would change it to a color that you can see. You just need to be able to trim on one side, so we don't have to change out our bobbin. But I put my gold back in for this. So put in a color that you can see so that when we go to trim this, because this is the tack down, but it's also your trim line. It's also going to be what you cut on to cut out those handles. You'll be happy that we're doing this. And they have a little note here. Anytime you see that little eye, that means use a color you can see. Okay, ready? I guess I don't have to bring up the bobbin thread, but maybe if we don't, no, you know what? Don't bring it up. This is your trim line. We're just going to be cutting directly on this line, so it doesn't make a difference.
Jeannie, I'm kind of behind, but when you do the black bobbin for the first stitch out, what color is the top one? Black also?
It had you do it in black just so you could see it. I mean, it showed you black right here. I
Okay.
don't know if you had to, because you just needed to, this is just going right on top of it. So, but this one, definitely do this in a color that you can see. So
Okay.
I'm doing it in gold.
Got it. Thank you.
And it says stitch the cauldron, handles, outline, and remove all the tape. I'm going to go ahead and just trim this stuff away. And it does want you to put black in. That's going to be like the inside line. This outside gold line is what we're going to trim. The inside line is just, it's kind of like these inside lines here. The outside line is what we're going to trim on. So, but I'm going to get rid of this gold so it doesn't get all stitched down. And these are the handles right here, little handles that we're doing. If the back's really messy, I'm going to get rid of this too. But that's going to get cut. You shouldn't need to worry about this gold. That's all going to get trimmed off. Okay. Put black in your upper. So go ahead and thread. Black in your upper. How are we doing? I don't want to be going too fast. Are we doing okay?
I'm a little
Yeah.
behind.
Okay, what are you on, Lori?
I'm just finished the black felt, but I've got to trim all the stitches.
Just this part right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna thread the next color super slow so you can catch up. Step 1, 2. I'm just kidding with you. Yeah.
What color are we doing next?
We're putting in the black and we're stitching the inside that gold line. And that's going to be like what holds it together, because that gold line we're going to be cutting. That's our trim line. So I think you're pretty much with me. Marion, where are you? Are you with me? Okay. Miss Judy, how are you doing? You're good? Okay, awesome. Katharina, how are you? Excellent. Thanks for the thumb. Some of you, I have a page 1. I'm not trying to leave anyone out, but I can see where people are at right now. Asuli, you good?
I just needed the black and I'll be all right.
Okay. Miss Lynn, how are you? Go, Lynn. Go, Lynn. Okay. I got a thumbs up, so I think she's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Oh, it's black on black. Do we need to? Okay, I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread. Reach under the foot, get that bobbin thread up. Black is so hard to see on black. But I think I got it. I'm like, it's cauldron handles. Do I care if there's a knot on the back? Is anyone going to see it? There we go. And now we have it where it's not cutting the jump thread. Donna, I want to know, what was it? No, was it Heather? Was it your son who said to not cut the jump threads? How does he know this?
Okay,
It was-
my son works for Janome.
Oh, okay. I thought your son was like 8. I don't know why. In my head, he was just a baby, and I was like, how does he know this?
No, my baby is almost 30.
Oh, so funny. Okay, that was step number 23. We are in step number 24. It says remove the project from the hoop, trim all the stabilizer around the legs and the shoes. And then we're going to trim only the stabilizer around the cauldron handle. So, I mean, it's showing you basically with this black line what it wants us to trim. So we're going to tape the project. I always like to read this twice because the last thing I want to do is have you say, take out the project, and we weren't supposed to. So we're going to take it out of the hoop. And just like you see it trimmed right here and right here, we're going to trim those 2 parts of the design. All right, pop it out. And first hooping is done. Can you believe it? Then we're going to trim this. I would be more apt to trim more, but we'll just do this. I like to just throw away as much of the dissolve away as possible and have as little of it. Because I'll dissolve it in like a bowl. If it's like the tiniest little bit, I'll do it in the sink. Don't tell anyone I said that. Okay, so now we have this and we have this. And then the instructions say, carefully cut the shoe leather in half to separate the 2 shoes, and be sure to cut through both layers of leather and stabilizer. Be careful not to cut the leg felt. So we're going to cut right between the shoes, right into the crotch, but we are not cutting the felt here. We're just going to cut all the way up to here. So let's do that. Have a good pair of scissors. I'm using I have a pair of these that are Kai's and a pair that are Gingers, and I love them both. So we're cutting right up here, straight through both layers. Do not cut your felt, and it should be like this. Then it says, carefully trim the top only of the leather on each shoe as shown. Be careful not to cut the leg felt. And we are cutting like straight across here. And then you're going to turn to the back and you're going to carefully trim the top only of the leather on each shoe as shown. Be careful not to cut the leg felt. Okay, so we are going to we're cutting just this top part, and then we're going to flip it and cut the rest. And you are going to cut on this. This is your cut line. The outer line is your cut line. Take your time. So whatever scissors you have that are going to work best. I can't remember if I used these when I did it or if I used my perfect scissors. I love my medium size. And I did not cut this. I cut right above it, and then the rest of the line I cut on because that kind of connects it. So I'm cutting above that line. I'm not cutting the line. I'm cutting right above it. Just like that. So that line is intact, but the rest of the line, I'm going to cut directly on it. You can even cut right to the inside so you make sure you get all those threads. Don't cut the felt. Don't cut your legs off. Go to your happy place. And I'm going to try and cut right to the inside so I get all those threads. Well, I did a crappy job of choosing a match. That's okay. Don't worry. I did a really crappy job with my first one, and that's why you never got a video. It's pretty amazing how many mistakes you can make on this. I did not know I could do that. And I want to say it was like I just kept stopping and starting and trying, and I was like, maybe I can salvage this. And then it was just no, there was like no hope. And I just turned off the camera and I kept stitching just to experience it. I'm just going to cut this so it's out of the way. This kind of stuff reminds me of like grade school. And I loved this kind of stuff. Arts and crafts was always my favorite. Never math and science, and I did okay in those classes. But like, I think my favorite classes in high school, my favorite class was home ec. And then I took a jewelry class. And those were my favorite classes. Okay, I'm flipping it to the back and I'm trimming the next boot. Remember, don't cut this line right here. Cut right above it. But the other one you want to cut right on it or just to the right of it. Or it depends on if you I'm a lefty. So
The only class I got a D in high school was home ec.
oh really? That is
Yeah.
so fun. What happened,
It is.
Judy?
I
Did you
don't
just not
know. I think it was the teacher. I didn't like the teacher,
Yeah.
or she didn't like me. One of the two.
And my home ec class, I don't know what you guys had, but there was no cooking. My home ec class was sewing. And I don't remember it be called a sewing class. I just remember it be calling home ec. And that was the first time I ever used a serger before. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Okay, remember, don't cut the stitch on the top. Cut right above it.
They didn't have sergers when I was in high school.
Yeah, it was new when I was there. They were like, we have this new machine.
I was in high school a long time ago.
Okay. I didn't cut my stabilizer. I'm going to just rip it away. I know it's not tear away, but you kind of can. All right. And if you have any threads, you can just go ahead and pull those away. I'm just going to cut them. Mine came out in one piece, and I'm just going to cut it. And go ahead and do your other shoe. Don't worry about this. We're going to take like a little Q-tip and we'll kind of wipe it down. And I didn't have many friends that wanted to take home ec with me, because they weren't interested in sewing. If you want to, you can go for it and just cut through both layers. If you're like, I don't have the patience. I think that's what I did in my first one. I think I just cut through both layers at the same time. It wasn't as pretty though. It wasn't as clean and okay, I'm going to cut through my stabilizer too, which I didn't do last time. For me, Lynn, English was tough because it's my second language. I'm just kidding. It's my first language. I was born in Connecticut, but I struggle writing. So I love the reading. I do not like writing. Okay, right across the top, but above that stitch. You don't want to. I want to cut that. What kind of scissors are you using? These are called Perfect Scissors. And they're really wonderful. And they come in different sizes. This is the medium size, the turquoise handled one. There's a small pair that has the green handled one. And then there are the purple pair. They have all different ones. And then she has other ones too. So it should look something like this. I want you to grab that thread out of there too. If there's any of that brown thread left, I want you to get it. Are those? Yes, they're the Karen Buckley scissors. You should have them. They're nice. They have a nice handle. They have like a comfort handle. They're nice and strong and pointy at the tip. There's a lot of good selling points to them. Finally got to printing and the files to my machine. We are recording this. Oh, for a minute, I panicked. Hang on, let me make sure we're recording this. Yes, we are recording this. Okay, looking good. There are his little feet. If you want to trim any of these threads, I have like one here that needs to go, and that's kind of it. And then it says, you'll have to trim from the front and the back. We did this. Trim both layers of felt and stabilizer along each leg on the trim line, direct stitched in step 7. Cut off the trimming line, stitch as you go. Oh, you know what? You didn't really have to make that pretty. I must have put that in there beforehand. So, because you are going to trim those legs out one more time. So sorry about that. That was good practice though. Trimming pretty. Some of us need that. So it does want us to go ahead and trim right on that outside line, not the inside line, on the outside line. Go ahead and trim that on the felt. And you're also going to do that on the cauldron handles. So we're going to go ahead and trim right on the outside line. I know you worked really hard to make it look pretty, but we are going to go ahead and just cut that away. So if you have trouble gauging, I like trim lines. I like it when Kimberbell gives us trim lines because some of us have trouble cutting a straight line. Some of us have trouble gauging, like, should I be closer or further apart? So trim lines are nice. Just the outer line. You can trim just to the inside of it so that stitch will get taken out. I gotta take that note out. I must have written that before we did this part. These would look really cute, Lynn, if you put like black boots on them. If you had black boots and then you did the little legs in like purple and orange for Halloween, even if those are big beefy feet, they'll still be really cute. Love them. Okay. You're going to do that with these cauldron handles too? You're going to trim both layers of the felt and stabilizer around the cauldron handles on the trimming line stitched in direction 22, cutting off the trimming line notes, trimming line stitching as you go. No, on the wide mouth size, trim the inside of the handles as well. So we're going to go ahead and just trim right around that gold. Do you trim the felt in the middle of the legs too? Oh, yes, Lynn. Yeah, thanks for catching that. If you are attentive like Lynn, you trim that as well. You do want to trim that. Don't separate them. Thank you. Yes. Don't get the crotch. We need that. And then go ahead and pinch these threads away. You want to get those out of there too. Just grab them. I want that one out too. I feel very relaxed right now. Are you feeling relaxed? Hope everyone is just, we should put on some spa music or something. A little waterfall music. Okay, there we go. Sometimes I feel like panicked, but right now I think that was like a nice exercise, just trimming with you. All right, cauldron handles. Will they stiffen up from the stabilizer? They might stiffen up from the stabilizer, and then when you put them in the cauldron, they're going to get kind of, you put it in and the coins will hold them. But yeah, maybe we'll just like dampen them a little bit. They're not going to be that stiff. They're a little wobbly. Not too bad. Like I'm not really doing anything. He's kind of standing. All right, handles. Okay, cut that gold right off. Oh, this makes my eyes crazy because it's so little. You could never cut those without, oh, I know, right? You need to have like a contrasting color. I tell you right now, I'd have no handles. And these are just so little. I don't care if I have pointy tips or whatever. But grab those orange threads if you can get them out of there. I say I don't care if it's pointy, but I have to trim it. Okay, there's one handle. Let me get the other one. If you can't see the inside, you don't have to cut the insides if you don't want to. On the regular mouth one, I think they don't even have you cut on the inside of the handle. Okay, pull your extra threads out so it looks nice and clean. And there's my other handle. There's my gorgeous legs. All right. I feel like I'm making like dolls or something. So after you do that, it says rinse the legs and cauldron handles to remove the stabilizer. Optional, use a wet cotton swab. Dissolve the excess from the edges of the leg and carefully trim any loose threads. I have these. Deanna got these for me in like Mexico, and I just love them. They're like these big fat cotton balls. I don't have much, there's not like much stabilizer there. I have some fuzzy ends, so I'm just going to go wet this and I'm going to just rub it on here. If you totally soak them, which I've done with my other ones, like you're going to want to take a hair dry too. We can do that later when we're doing some more stitching out because some of this stuff takes longer. But I'm just going to take a little Q-tip and I'm going to rub it around. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water. How convenient. This is my wide mouth jar and I'm just using this. I'm just going to wet this and just kind of rub it around the edges, just so it's not fuzzy. And I think the dissolve away that was just trimmed, and I'm not going to wet it anymore. And those look nice. And my cauldron handles, that was all trimmed, so I'm going to trim the excess threads, but I'm not going to trim anything else. I think we should be good. And we are done with these. Put them in a safe place. What you don't want to do is start your next project and they get stuck to the back of your project and stitched down. Not that that's ever happened to me, which it has, but put them in a safe place that you can find them, especially these little guys. I'm just putting these all, they're going to be right here, just in the lid of my machine. And go ahead and finish up. I'm just going to clean up my work area a little bit. And then we are going to, next thing we're going to do is we are going to hoop up another piece, doing cauldron handles right now. And then I need to let Miss Debbie in. Hang on just a second. I'm just going to clean up a little bit. Go ahead and hoop up your 5x7 hoop with your other piece of dissolve away or wash away, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't live without my bobbin boats or my little thread organizer. Makes me feel like I'm more organized. Oh, look at that. Judy's got her legs looking good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hoop. How are we doing? Lori, how are you? You're good? Saw your thumbs up there. Miss Katerina, you good? All right. Asuli, got your thumbs up. Miss Lupe, how are you? Miss Marion, you good? Okay. That's my page one. How about Penny? Penny and Lynn, you okay? All right. Miss Suzette and Trisha? Gotcha. Miss Connie and Sharon, you doing okay? Donna, you catching up with your handles?
I'm just watching today.
You're just watching today? Okay. Well, it'll all be recorded. Hi, there's Miss Carolyn. Good to see you. Here are the rest of my pieces. We're going to be doing some of the glitter now because I think we're doing the coin, but I'm not positive. I'll have to look at the instructions. You have a big piece of wash away that's like wrapped up with you should have one piece that looks like this. Don't touch this stuff. This stuff here is for the gift tag, okay? We're gonna be using the other stuff. So I'm gonna grab my hoop, I'm gonna hoop up. Watching and taking notes. And let's go ahead and hoop this up. There we go. I'm going to just pull in gently, make sure it's nice and smooth and it looks good. I know that that's really nice and snug, but if it's not, hand tighten and then use your hoop tightener and tighten it a little bit more. Let's come on back over here. And let's look, before I slide it on, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what, we're going to see what thread color we should be putting back in our bobbin. So we're going to be using our gold glitter. We have our wash away. We're going to load part B embroidery file into the machine, and we're going to change the bobbin thread back to a neutral color. For me, that means I'm just going to put my white back in. So before you slide that hoop on, go ahead and take out. And I have a bobbin right here on top of the machine that looks like, that does not look like embroidery thread. Let me get one out of here. Oop, vanish. That is not what I want to use. Oh, that one's vanished too. What's this? That's a regular one. Yeah, if you do use vanish in your bobbin, make sure you write it on there so that you don't use it by accident and then have your whole project fall apart. That's no fun. All right, let's go ahead and load our design. I'm going to go home to clear my screen. I'm going to go embroidery. Let's go pocket. And we are doing pot of gold. And here's the next stitch up that we're going to do. So go ahead and touch that and set it. So that's going to be your coins, and this is going to be the base. And that little slit right there, that's where your legs are going to fit in. Let's go ahead and say embroidery. And let's go ahead and turn on our cutting of our jump threads right now. So go ahead, we're going to come back into this button. This is where you adjust your tension and your jump threads, and we're going to turn it back on. If it's highlighted, that means that it is that's on. If it's white, that means it's not on, and those are grayed out. So turn it on. Okay, and I think we already put our foot height back to what it was supposed to be, but let me check. Yes, we're at default for our foot height. We are going to be changing that though. And I think we're ready to get started. So it says stitch. It says stitch the coin base placement line directly on the stabilizer. Color doesn't make a difference, but I put a note here to use sand. So just go ahead and put your sand. Oh, you know what? I don't know why mine says to use the sand bobbin. Use sand bobbin. Oh, you know why? Because it says to use a neutral color, and we're going to have to change to that anyways. So it's up to you. I guess we could just change it now, or if you just want to use your white. I didn't read that beforehand, but I do have a sand bobbin, and I guess that's going to be my neutral color, and I won't have to change it later because I think it's going to want us to match. I'm just going to put it in. And I'm also going to put sand in the top. Again, unthread. When I'm using mini cones, I don't even use a spool cap because it just speeds up really nicely. And sometimes if you do use a spool cap, your thread gets caught in between the spool cap and the thread. Use your spool caps when you're using a spool. I do sometimes use the little gray special spool holder, but I don't know where ours is. So I just go with that. You should be fine. Slide the hoop on. And we're going to stitch directly. Lynn, of course you do, because that's what you should do. The fabric that we're going to be using is this, and you should have yours stabilized with Shape Flex. I'm going to give mine a little shot of spray. And you're going to fit this right inside of that square. So it says place the coin base fabric right side up inside the placement line and tape the corners. I'm not taping the corners because I've sprayed, but you want to go right inside that. And then it says stitch the coin base tack down line and inner opening trim line and remove the tape. Do not trim the fabric at this time. So go ahead and stitch. You do want to put your sand or whatever color you're using for this. I'm using sand. So it's tacking it down. And then it's going to do the inside where we're going to be trimming later on. Okay, we're going to be trimming that. You're trimming inside of that line that it's doing right now. But do not trim the stabilizer. So you want to make sure you get through the 2 layers. So you're getting through the layer of the fabric and you're getting through the layer of the, I'm looking for my snips. Where are you, favorite snips? Oh, I don't see them. I think I left them at home. I'm going to use my double curved. Or actually, I'm going to use my, I don't want these either. I want my, oh, this is what I want. I'm going to be using these. So trim inside, take your time. Make sure you don't go through both layers. I kind of just take one and I'm going to poke it in there. There. And then I kind of peek under here and I go, did I get it? Am I through? Nope, I didn't get through the shape flex. So I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm going to snip. Go, did I get it? What I want to get is make sure I'm not through the stabilizer too. Let me trim. And peek. Yep, the stabilizer's still there. So now I can go ahead and trim. And a good pair of snips. Check again, just to make sure. Yep. What I really want, sometimes I find like those don't get through as well as my other ones. My snippies, those are my favorites. The Havel snippies, they're just a little bit stronger, just strong enough to get through a layer of fabric and that shape flex. So this right now, these are my double curved, my 4.5 inch double curved. And these are my femoris. Take your time. Okay. Where am I? Hang on. This is my newer pair. I don't know if you could see, I was struggling a little bit. Those need to be sharpened. What do I have here? All right. So trim that out. Should look kind of like that. And then you're going to just put it back on the machine and let it do the inner opening satin outline. And then we're going to stitch the gold coin placement line for our glitter. I'm going to slide this back on, and then I'm going to go grab my glitter. You are using your smaller piece of glitter. You have 2 pieces of glitter. The big one is for the next stitch out. That is the opening for the legs. Yes. So you have a bigger piece and a smaller piece, and they're 2 different golds. So you're going to have it'll have more depth. So we're using the smaller piece first. Don't use this. You need this one for later on.
I have one piece of glitter, but
You
I
don't
have it here. But I have it here, so I can
I'm so
replace it.
sorry, teacher. You missing the big piece?
The big piece, yeah.
How about your leather? Do you have 2 pieces of leather, one small, one big?
I do, yes.
Do I have anything going out to you? I can pop it in your next.
Oh, not a big deal. Not a big deal. I got it. So
That was me. I must have been enjoying my show too much.
no problem. No problem.
It must have been an exciting part. I tried really hard to make them perfect, but I will always send you whatever you're missing too. It looks kind of like a little bat, doesn't it? Reminds me of Batman. Okay, so for your glitter, that was step number 8 right here. And the next step is to stitch the gold coin placement line. So just go ahead and hit start. And you're going to want to remove the coating to your leather. So the first time I ever used this, I didn't even take the plastic off. I didn't even know you could. I just put it down, and then I read the instructions. I was like, oh, I was supposed to take that off. So I like to just bend it, and then it'll separate pretty easily. But I usually try to bend it first, and then it'll come apart. But you want to remove this plastic carrier. That's for, if you are going to be using this HTV with your cutter and stuff and you need the carrier. You don't need it, just throw it away. Yeah, let me know if ever you're missing something. You're going to place the gold glitter right side up, completely covering the project. I'm going to spray mine. It says to tape it, but I'm going to get mine spray. And you just need to cover over those 6 coins. So you could use it right at the edge. You don't have to. You might have enough to do multiples. And then it wants you to go ahead, and step number 11 is stitch the gold coin tack down line and then remove the tape. And then we're going to trim the glitter around each coin and gold pair as desired. Be careful not to cut the coin base fabric or stabilizer in the opening. Okay. So go ahead and hit start. I thought Graydon's was kind of fun because, she's young and willing to just do all sorts of different things. And she used yellow and she used black and she just did whatever she wanted. Me, I'm must follow the instructions. I have trouble straying, but we did give you 2 different colors of glitter. So maybe that'll add a little bit of depth to it. I will trim. Is this where I need to iron? Yes, that was in the very, very beginning. It wanted you the very first step with the legs. It had you iron the fusible backing to that mustard colored fabric. We're just going to keep stitching. If you need to run and take a break, run and take a break. Maybe we'll, after this one, we'll take, you know what, after we finish stitching these coins, we'll take a little break so you can run to the ladies' room if you need to, or the little gentleman's room, whatever it is. All right, it's hard to see because it's gold on gold, but you're going to go ahead and just trim around these coins as desired. I didn't see that, Lynn. Could you use flex foam under this? I think they're so tiny. I don't think you can really do the flex foam. You could seriously forego this. And like Dana had given me like gold beads and all sorts of stuff that we used in a project and that she laid down, and it looked so fun. It was for, I think, the luckiest pillow. They had like a cauldron, and she had used it for that, and it was really, really cute. I think these are too tiny for flex foam. They're like really little. So go ahead and trim around them. I'm just going to trim right to the edge. Okay, Jeannie, you are not a hoarder. You can throw away these little pieces. Oh, and this is where they're telling you to be careful. Don't accidentally get your scissors under there and cut through that. If you're starting to cut and it feels like too thick, then you're in the little hole. I did just throw away that piece of glitter. It's part of my therapy, my hoarding. Peek under there. It feels thick. Don't keep cutting. And just do your best. Doesn't have to be perfect. They're going to get covered over. So don't spend a ton of time making them gorgeous. There's other things that we want to focus our time and energy on, but they're going to look something like that. Okay. So just finish trimming out your coins. Once you're done trimming them, it says use a pressing cloth and press the glitter for 15 to 20 seconds. I didn't even do that, but let's go ahead and do it because they're so little and they're going to get covered over. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my iron. This is why it's nice to have a little iron. This iron here fits right in the hoop. And I always have pieces of muslin sitting around. But I also have got like the Goddess pressing sheet is my favorite. I love this pressing sheet, and it's thin. Like I have other pressing sheets. Like I have that one that says as seen on TV, which I've never seen on TV. But I have that one and it's kind of thick. So I really, really love this one. Just waiting for this to heat up. And what does it say? I think it said 15 to 20 seconds. Do you think that's hot enough? Do I have to wait? I'm not going to wait. And I'm sure that's good. It's so little, you know? All right. Back to the machine. I'm going to go ahead and slide this back on. And it says stitch the gold coin placement line 2. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And this is our placement line. And now we're placing down the gold leather. You have 2 pieces of gold leather. You want to be using the little one. Okay, he was not threaded. This is just a placement line, so I'm not even going to go back. I'm just going to keep stitching from here. If it was a tack down, I would go back and do the tack down. Thank you, Lynn. So you have 2 pieces of leather. You're using the smaller one. You're going to use the 2 bigger pieces of glitter and leather in the next stitch out. I'm going to give this a little shot of spray to the back just to put it down. Okay. We're just going to take this and just put it down over this whole thing. I mean, I could have just told you to take your leather and just cover everything. And now we're going to do the tack down. So this is going to be step number 16, stitch the gold coins tack down line 2 and remove the tape. I have a little bit of spray on it, so I don't need that. Just a little bit of spray. And then we're going to trim these. You're going to trim the leather around each coin and coin pair as desired. Where is everyone? Does anyone need help? Let me know if you need help. If you're at a step and you need to be caught up. And these are trim as desired, but I'm going to trim them pretty close. I'm not going to leave a big edge to these. Trim these as desired. And then we're going to change the bobbin thread to match the top thread. I already have my What was up here? Am I like imagining that? Trimming the first coins. Trimming the first, was it? I'm looking at this going, I don't remember there being a big hole up here. Is it me? Okay. I thought maybe some water. Oh, you know what? I put this over there on my, maybe there was some water somewhere. Yeah, there could have been. And I have a big hole in my thing. And I think we need that because I think I need to stitch on the top. So I might be rehooping again. So anyways, let's go ahead and we're going to trim that. I just looked at it and there was nothing there. And I wonder, I must have gotten some water on it somewhere, which I'm not sure where, but just be careful. Suddenly I looked and there was a big hole. We're going to trim these, change the bobbin thread to match the top thread. And we're going to, okay. And then we're going to do the very top, which I'm going to have to rehoop again, just because I'm missing my stabilizer. Can't you put another piece under that section? Yeah, maybe it was from the iron. I could put something under here, but it's kind of like crunchy and edgy. So I think I'll probably just rehoop something. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these. I got so confused because suddenly there was a big hole in my stabilizer and I didn't know where it came from. Yeah, I didn't look at my iron and maybe it's set to steam. Even though I had the pressing sheet over it. I wonder if I could just bump it up. Hey, Lori, could you cut me a piece of wash away stabilizer 9x12? Thank you. I was so confused. Cute coins. And the big ones that the big gold glitter that we put in there is like a shinier gold. Okay, that's going to be the bottom coins. We're going to change the bobbin thread, which I already have there. If you didn't do it yet, change your bobbin thread to match your upper thread. And we're going to stitch the dimensional coin placement line. And I wonder if mine, that's it. Yeah, thank you. Just 9 inches. That's the 12-inch. I am popping mine out because mine, I have a big hole in there. So I just need to put in a new piece of stabilizer. You're not doing this. This is just me because look at that. Thank you so much. It's Friday. Come on. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Ready? Don't be confused. You have your piece right here and you're just stitching right here on top. Okay. You're going to change the bobbin and we're going to stitch the dimensional coin placement line. So just go ahead and hit start. Whoop.
What, sorry, Jeannie, what color are we using now?
I'm still using the sand, the gold, whatever gold you're using. My thread is unthreaded. Just know your needle is starting to go through all this rough stuff. And so if your thread breaks, don't be worried about it. There's nothing wrong. And while it's doing this, you're going to make a Mylar sandwich with your tool. So you should have a piece of tool in your kit. And we didn't cut it down. I just left it big so that you could sandwich. Okay. And then you're going to have a piece of gold Mylar in there too. Whoops. Make sure the gold side's up. You're going to just put it here and just make a little Mylar sandwich. Just like that. And we're going to be stitching this down. It wanted gold, but look at Graydon did hers with iridescent. And I thought that looked so cute. So if you have iridescent, you want to do that or a different color in your stash, you could do that as well. You're going to have gold in your kit with a piece of tulle. So open up your tulle, put this right to the fold and just fold it over. And we're going to be putting this down. And I don't think we have to stitch all of that. If you do another one of these, I would just stitch the first one and then I would just lay down my tulle sandwich and not do all that whole placement line. Because, you know, if you cover it here and just have it go to the side, it'll cover the whole thing. It'll just save you some more time. I'm always all about saving time. So if you look at your instructions, it wants you to place a dimensional coin tool piece covering the coin placement, tape the corners, then the Mylar, then the tool. We're not doing that. I gave you enough tool so you could go ahead and put your Mylar on one side and just fold it over. We're going to place it down and we're just going to tape this piece here. Oh, hang on one second. It's saying my battery is running low. Hang on, let me just plug in. Oh, there we go. That'd be a whole lot of taping. So just make a tool sandwich, a Mylar sandwich. Cover this over, and we are going to just tape this down in the corners. Here we go. That's better than having to tape everything. Hang on just a second. Why is this? Let's see. Okay. All right. That was these 3 steps, and then go ahead and stitch the dimensional coin tack down line, and then remove all your tape. Oh, did mine drag? What happened there? I think we're okay. Heather, Judy, how are you doing? You good? Excellent. Miss Katerina and Lori, each good? Excellent. How you doing, Lori? How about you, Miss Betty and Lupe?
I'm watching because I don't have my kit.
Oh,
But
I'm so sorry, Miss Lupe. We'll get
That's
those out to
okay.
you soon.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Mrs. Sully? Excellent. Miss Penny and Lynn, you okay? Suzette, you look cozy. Watching? Trisha and Connie? Miss Sharon and Margie, hopefully you're doing okay. Miss Donna, you stitching? Where are you at? You're good? How about Miss Anna and Cheryl?
I'm good. I'm not stitching. I don't have my machine right now, but I'm enjoying watching it.
Okay. Miss Rita and that must be Rosemary. We good?
Yeah, Ginny, I'm just watching.
Okay. And then I have some ladies on page 3. Got Miss Peggy. I'm not sure who Ifaz is. Are you holding? How are you holding? I'm holding up. I'm feeling extremely relaxed. I'm just enjoying sewing again. It was a tough go of it, and not being able to, not feeling well enough to do the things you want to do is always hard. So, this was this step right here. We took our little sandwich and we just did all of that. Now we're going to trim the tool and Mylar around each dimensional coin close to the stitch line. Be careful not to cut the stabilizer. So let's just get trimming. This stuff is, I don't know, it's just been kind of nice and relaxing. It's nice to see everyone too. I got scared because this morning I was like, Patrick was saying we need to get ready for my surgery. So I just did a search that just said like, after mastectomy. And I don't know, some of that might be too TMI, but I've just been kind of just told you everything that's been going on. And I was like, do I need that? Like, what do I need? And, people have told me I get different people tell me different things. So Patrick is like, what question should we ask? And I almost was thinking, maybe I should ask what other people who have gone through what I've gone through, what they have found helpful.
What do you mean?
I was on Amazon today looking. And I don't even wear a brassiere because I don't need one. So now I have to look for one of those. I don't even know what to do. Help me, lady.
You need a sports bra that fits up front. The doctor told me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what.
Yeah, that's what I had too. Get them up the front for sure.
Well, and I had a friend that said she slept in a lazy boy. Like she was like, I slept in a lazy boy for a month. I was like, do I need a lazy boy? And then
She said she was still sleeping in the lazy boy.
and then some people told me I just need to get like a wedge. And then I was like, well, I just
I could bring in a wedge, Jeannie. I have a
Is that what you used?
I didn't. I just slept in my bed, but
okay.
Wedge would have felt better.
I just don't want her rolling around. But she doesn't really move anyways, unless I punch her. Snort.
Can you believe he punches me because I snore?
Don't punch her. I actually tap her. Sometimes I kind of kick her though.
I don't know. If anyone has any suggestions, maybe you can email me because I'm not sure what I should get.
I used a sports bra. I had a double mastectomy in 2011 and used a sports bra until I didn't need it. Now I don't wear a bra. I don't worry about it. It's so nice. It's so nice.
My bra in the summertime, I have like a sports bra, like a tank top, like a half one, and then the wintertime my bra is a full tank top. So not working with much here. This is going to be on YouTube. This is what I'm talking about. All right. Just keep trimming. Take your time. No rush. I like to do it like this and just kind of turn the hoop. I think I'm done. Yeah. So just go ahead and finish that up. Trim up your coins. When they're done, they should look kind of like this. You're going to have the Mylar and the tool, and they're super cute. And I was just checking this one, and this looks like 3 all together. And then after you're done with that, You're just going to put it back in your machine, stitch the dimensional coins. Mine's a little wrinkly too. Don't worry about it. It just makes it, do you see mine wrinkly? Don't worry about it. It's just going to make it look even more awesome. Stitch the dimensional coins, fills and satin outline. I slowed my machine to 800 stitches per minute because of shredding. So I did get some shredding and I took my speed down. So I'm going to take my speed down to 800. I hate taking my speed down. I love stitching fast all the time. I know some people don't like that. So I'm going to go here into settings and I'm going to go to my maximum speed and I'm going to go to 800. And after I took my speed down, the shredding stopped. But you got to think that needle and thread is going through the tool and the mylar, and that stuff can get sharp and it can cut your thread. It can shred it. So there's nothing wrong with your machine. Just go ahead and put that in. And I'm going to start. And now it's going to stitch the outline stitch around it. And then we're done with this hooping. We'll take a 5-minute break. That'll let you catch up. And it'll let you run to the bathroom if you need it. And then you'll remove the project from the hoop. Mine is already partially removed. I have this part removed and it wants you to trim around this project. And it actually says, remove the project from the hoop, trim only the stabilizer around the coin base. This is your coin base and it wants you to go ahead and trim the stabilizer around this. And coin base, the dimensional coins and the dimensional coin pairs. So I will take this and I'm going to trim the stabilizer around it and then I'm going to put it in a bowl. I'm going to just rinse it. I'm going to actually soak it and get rid of all that stabilizer. Using a wet cotton swab, they do want you to dissolve the stabilizer right here inside of the coin base, and that's where his little legs are going to slip in. So I know yours is still attached. I'm just going to take my scissors. I'm going to kind of cut away because look at all these messy threads on the back too. That's such a great idea, Lynn. So when you say you use the dime, is that the one that actually cuts the stitches? So do you just take the little shaver and just let it cut all those? Do you have it? Can you show it to us and I can spotlight so that the other people can see? I'm gonna go to you.
Yes, Jeannie.
Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you. Let's spotlight Miss. She can show us her. Add spotlight. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's such a great idea. So that's a stitch, that's the dime stitch remover. I don't think I have any in stock right now, but I could get them. And you're muted. Could you unmute and say that again?
I'm sorry. As long as you don't go real deep with it and just get the threads,
Yep.
it cleans up the back of everything so nice.
That's such a great idea because I never thought of using it for that because I used it more as a stitch remover, like an embroidery stitch remover, but you could just kind of touch it to the threads and then it'll just cut them off.
Exactly.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. I'll have to get some.
You bet.
That's such a great way to use it. All right, let me go ahead and get stitching again. Okay, so I trimmed some of that stuff on the inside. Now I'm going to get my cotton swab. And I'll just go ahead and you don't want to get this too wet. I think when I did my first one, I took it to the sink and I kind of just went for it. I was just wetting it. And then when I used my topper, because we are going to use some topper on this later, my topper totally disintegrated because I didn't dry it enough. So if you get it super wet, I want you to use a hair dryer on it and dry it before we get to the next step. Otherwise, your topper is going to just disintegrate. And I'm finding this Q-tip is just enough. But I wish I had what Lynn, I actually have one of those at my house, and I never thought about using that. Knowing me, I would trim stitches. But that would be really good to just kind of touch it to those threads. While I'm sitting here, I'm just going to kind of go cut them because they look messy. We're just going to give it a little haircut. I wonder if you could use a, you know how they have those little sweater cleaners where you get all the fuzzies off? Wonder if you could use something like that too.
I don't know why you couldn't. I would just, again, just be cautious not to go too deep with it where you would cut those knots off. But those threads drive me crazy in the back.
Yeah.
When my grandma taught me to garment sew, it was always taught to me that you should be able to wear the garment inside out.
Ooh, yeah.
So anything out of the norm just makes me crazy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little fuzzies in there. So you want to clean it up a little bit. I think that's kind of good enough. Those little pokey outy legs, they are going to be going down into this. That's where these go. But we are going to be layering the coins. So these coins are going to get layered up. So we are not done yet, but they're going to be like that. Okay. Put this all in a safe spot. I'm putting everything on like the top of my machine and we are still stitching.
Hey, Jeannie, some of my coins there with, the tool, it totally got ate up in the machine. So I have like those 3 coins in the middle that are damaged. Is that going to matter? Can I
These
just
3 right here?
them? Yeah.
No, no, because we're like, you're literally going to be tossing them on top.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. So you'll be okay. Did it get dragged around or something and then chewed up?
I don't know. I ran downstairs to get a bowl of water.
That's when it always happens. That's the law of embroidery.
Right?
Right. Don't step away because that's when it's going to happen.
Exactly.
It'll be fine. You'll have plenty. So you might have lost these 3. Just layer them up on the front side.
Okay.
And maybe you won't have as much on the back.
Okay.
I'm about 2/3 the way done. And these I'm going to cut and I'm just going to soak them in a little dish.
Hi, Jeannie.
Yeah.
Katerina speaking.
Hi.
I need to run, but I'm done with my topper. And
Oh,
it is adorable.
it's so cute.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is very cute.
Did you start before us or are we just really slow?
No, did start 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the class started.
Okay.
I
Because
was
I
a
was
little
starting to
bit.
think, whoa,
No, I was a little bit late, but it's adorable.
it's super cute. Thanks for joining us, Katerina.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you for the next one. You'll
one.
you'll see Michelle for the sampler, and then I'll be here for the little roll-up bag.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you later.
Bye, ladies.
And if you are done and you're rinsing this off, I'm just trying to think. Well, we'll take, or I mean, we can kind of stagger our break, but you could take a little break. When I finish, we'll take like a little 5-minute break and just make sure everyone gets caught up and they have everything done. And then you can hoop up. You're going to hoop up the no-show mesh piece of stabilizer. That's the next piece that you're going to be putting in. And we're going to be doing the cauldron base with the black felt. I got to tell you, I know it was like a pain bringing up the bobbin thread and, you know, doing the jump thread. I loved, Heather, that you suggested we do that. But these are so much cleaner and look so much better than the ones that I did in my first video that you guys never saw. So I think it was worth it just to take that extra time. If you're making a ton of these, though, just let it go, right? I wouldn't worry about it. Suzette, we will see you later. Thanks for joining us. Miss Thela, Miss Alice, how are you doing?
I'm just watching, Jeannie, not sewing.
Well, glad you could join us, though.
Thank you.
And Miss Karen and Miss Linda. Linda, I have I think you ordered it yesterday, so yours should go out today, like later on or tomorrow at the latest. I'll get your kit out for you. That's going to be my sit in front of the TV tonight and put together kit project. All right, this is my last one. And then I'm going to trim as much of that dissolve away, the wash away. I'm going to trim as much away as possible. And then I'm going to rinse that in a little bowl. I'm going to pop this out. I'm going to trim this close. Well, glad to have you, Karen. Patrick's out there laughing. I can hear him. Okay, and that's good enough for me. I'm going to take this in a little bowl. I'm going to rinse it. It is 3:17. Why don't we come back here at, I'll give you a little time if you need to get caught up or whatever you need to do. Let's come back here at 3:25, and then we're going to do the jar base. So we're getting close. And I'm going to see you in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm not going to pause it because I'll come back here. I'm going to trim all the little threads. These are the threads, Lynn. Look at them. That drive you crazy. Get out that little dime thing. And I never thought about using this to just kind of like touch these threads and get rid of them. You know what I think Michelle uses? I think she actually will take like a lighter and like just hold that, and they kind of like sizzle up too. I wonder if you could do that. Me, I don't like to play with fire, but I'll be right back. I'm going to rinse these out. Oh, here's my little bowl. I'm just going to drop them in here.
Jeannie, Michelle has mentioned that several times about using a lighter. I'd burn the house down.
Yeah, I would too. I'm burnable. That's what seem to be the injuries I get. So for me, I'm not going to play with fire. I rather like try that other little thing. I'm just going to drop these in here, dissolve this away, and then I'm going to cut away all those little icky threads. And I might take a hairdryer to this, or actually these go on after. So and you might have some of those like the tool holding it together. Like my dissolve away is all gone now. So mine are still connected. I'm going to get a paper towel and kind of dry these off. These are kind of fun. I'm just going to trim these apart at this point. Just give it a little haircut. Lori, your cauldron's just not going to be as rich as mine. because you're missing 3 coins. I'm just kidding with you.
I spent my money. I spent it ahead of time.
You spent your money at A1 Vacuum and Sewing,
Right.
and your lighting looks fantastic. And then you're going to have your beautiful mat too.
I know. I'm hoping to get some furniture.
Yeah.
I gotta wait for Joe to get back in town.
Yeah. I like to make those decisions when Patrick's gone. My first embroidery, my first big one, I had like my first embroidery machine was a Baby Lock Sophia, and I want to say I paid $329 for it because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like embroidery, and I loved it. And then I bought a Baby Lock Allure, and then they had a used machine here at the shop, and Peter called me, and Patrick was gone hunting. I was like, I'm getting it. That was like my first, yeah, that was my first big machine. And then a 6 needle. I bought a used 6 needle. And then I tried a different brand for a while, and came back to Baby Lock and Brother machines. Got a 10 needle.
Well, I tell you, I am so happy I got this machine. I love it.
Yes.
Boy, these little coins are,
There's a lot here, right?
yeah, so much stitching in it. I mean, they are gold.
Cute though, right? Like these will be fun to throw on. And
You know what I think part of my problem was is my thread. I have that bro thread.
oh, yeah. So
Wow.
is it breaking or what's going on with it?
It was like breaking. It was kind of shredding a little bit.
I think that people think that bro thread, I feel like because the name, they think it's brother thread.
That's what I thought when I first got my machine.
Yes.
Like a whole,
Whole set.
colors, yeah. And for the most part, I don't have problems with it, but I think
Yes.
these layers.
Yeah. Well, in going through this, I had some breakage. That's why I made that little note to just slow your machine down. And sometimes that's like Sage. If you've heard me talk about Sage, she's a good friend of mine. She had a sewing studio, and she used to just buy sets of thread on Amazon, and they were kind of just the cheapy thread sets. And I don't think she had that many problems, but you get what you pay for. And and I'm a believer in that it can be the thread. I think that the time that it really stood out to me was I was doing a demo on a serger, and I had 2 spools of maxi. I was doing a cover stitch demo, and I was doing 2 spools of maxi lock, and then I had some cheap, we just had it in the basket thread in the middle, and I did the cover stitch. And you could see each defined stitch with the maxi lock, and then the other thread just looks like it was kind of laying on top. And I was like, wow. And I changed out that thread and put in maxi lock, and it was beautiful. And that was the first time I was like, wow, thread really can make a difference.
Yeah.
I was one of those sewists that like use the same foot and the same thread and the same setting for everything. I didn't know you could change anything. I just did everything with this. I didn't know. But once you learn, you go, oh, it can make a difference. It does make a difference a lot of the times. So here are my coins. Those are ready to go, and it's $3.25, and I was just cutting this whole time. So hopefully everyone is either caught up. You can trim later because there's going to be some stitching out. You don't know what you don't know. But once you know, you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I used the same needle for everything. I use like the same needle with heavy thread, and my stitch in the back would look scalloped, and I didn't know why, but I didn't even know to care. I didn't even know that I should care that it looked like that. So, but you learn a lot.
Yes, I am.
Okay. hopefully we're caught up. How are we? Did everyone get like a little break? I was just sitting here just trimming out my coins, making them look gorgeous. This is the front side's going to be the more sparkly side. Okay, so you've got a front and you've got a back side, but there's no reason you can't turn it over to the back if you want it to like have depth and have things look different. So that would be me just by accident gluing them upside down. We're going to take our last piece of no-show and hoop it in your 5x7. And we are going to be doing the cauldron base, which is going to be this part right here with the handles and all of that. We're going to be playing with our foot height and we're going to be doing all of that. So let's go over here. Still stitching the coin detail. That's okay. Once the coin detail will get just hooped up. Are you almost done with it, Donna? How far along are you? Let me tidy up this area. This is what my sewing room looks like, just like a mess. When I start stitching, I'll clean it up and then it's a mess.
You have like a wrist cushion for the side.
They're on the little tower.
Okay.
They're on the little tower. I think there's 2 of them in different colors. Okay. They're the Bowen ones. Here is your no-show. Don't use your last piece of dissolve away. You need that for the tag. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. And says it has 2 more minutes. Just keep going. And then after you're done with those, because those you're just going to hot glue on, Donna. There we go. Sometimes you just got to make a little noise. And just make sure everything's nice and flat.
The
I always like to take
the one that has the bigger kind of weave, right?
Yes, that is your no-show.
Okay.
That's going to be your cutaway, your no-show cutaway. Here we go. Take your coins and put them someplace safe. Asuli, are you ready to go? Are you on this step with us? How about you, Miss Penny? You good? Okay. Lori, what are you stitching your coins or what are you stitching?
I'm done with my coins. I'm caught up.
You're done? Okay. I'm going to look at page, let me look at page 2. All right, let's look at our instructions and see what they say. So we are going to be using your other piece of glitter. This is going to be the bigger one. This is the one that Jeannie forgot to give Judy. Sorry, Judy, please forgive me. All right. Hoop your stabilizer does want you to pull this away. We'll try and go slow so you can get caught up, Miss Donna. So take off the carrier, separate it. And if you have a stash, I mean, if you do Kimberbell, you have a stash of embellishments. Look in your stash of embellishments. See if you have something. This is like a little bit of a shinier, brighter gold. There's all sorts of different stuff out there. If we kit stuff, we usually use the Kimberbell stuff. The other stuff, like this is Sizer. So Sizer makes really, really nice HTV too. So sometimes your kits will have Sizer in it. We'll always put something quality in there. Load part C of your embroidery file into the machine. So we'll come on over here. Go ahead and say okay. Hit your home button to clear your screen. And I'm doing wide mouth, and it's going to be this one right here, the 5x7, and go ahead and set it. And no reason if you wanted to do a bunch of these that you couldn't use a bigger hoop and do 4 at a time or something like that. If you've got 4 little grandkids. And it says change the, oops, sorry, didn't read that. Change the bobbin thread to a neutral color and stitch the background placement line directly on the stabilizer. I still have my gold in there, so I'm going to leave it. Although he's kind of running out. And you're going to put black in your upper. So go ahead and unthread, put your black in your upper, and you are going to go ahead and stitch your placement line. And we're going to grab that biggest piece of black felt in your kit. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch the placement line. Oh, is it the black felt or the fabric? Hang on. Let me see. Place the background fabric. Don't grab your felt. You're grabbing your fabric. So you should have a piece of black felt and a piece of fabric. We are grabbing the fabric, not the felt. Sorry about that. I'm going to give mine a little shot of spray and I'm going to put it down. And it says, place the fabric right side up, covering the placement line. The fabric should extend 1/4 inch past the placement line on all sides. I can feel it right here. I'm just a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to scoot this down and you can peek underneath here to see, but I'm going to scoot mine down just the tiniest bit because I was just a 1/4 inch and I could feel it here. Oh, I'm a 1/4 inch there. That's good. I'm a 1/4 inch on the top and I've got plenty of room on either side. But make sure you have a 1/4 inch all the way around. And then it wants you to stitch the jar band placement line. Do not trim the fabric at this time. Just go ahead and start. You should have black in your upper. You know, it said change the bobbin thread to a neutral color and it didn't say to do black. So I see a little pin dot, but I'm going to just leave that. Maybe black would be the best, but it didn't say to do that. So I didn't do it. I do see a little pin dotting there with my sand. I'm just going to go with it and maybe we'll change our notes to put in a black bobbin. Go ahead and stitch the decorative background tack down. So you're going to put your green in. I'm putting this one back in. And I can't remember if this goes over that line or it goes right around it. But to be on the safer side, if you're going to do this again, you could add a note that says instead of that neutral, we could write in here, use black. Because this is going to go around it. So right here, instead of neutral, we could use a black bobbin. Let's see if it gets covered over. We're going to watch that and see. That is a pretty stitch, isn't it? It's got little shamrocks. I almost feel like you should add a note here. You know what? This is going to go underneath because I don't see it here at all. I'm thinking it's going to go underneath the rim. But if you really want to be a stickler, you could do a matching bobbin for this too. We'll revisit it. We'll see what we see and what really makes a difference. And then we'll add those notes into our instructions. All right. It wants you to put in your black thread and stitch the coin base placement line. So I'm going to take out my green. It looks gorgeous. Gonna put my black in. And it's gonna put little placement lines right in the corner. Okay. Okay, you're gonna grab your coin base, which is this piece right here. This is gonna go down next. And in our instructions, it says place the embroidered coin base fabric from part 2, direction step 26, right side up with the corners fitting inside the placement line. The opening should be horizontal. So you want to make sure your opening is left to right, not up and down. With the side with the most coins towards the bottom of the hoop. So your most coins, it looks like, are going to be the more leather coins. And then we're going to tape it in place. I didn't trim that. I mean, I kind of just trimmed it like they said, but I'm going to trim this away right now. Just some of this dissolve away. Doesn't seem, it just said to trim it around it, but look at those icky threads. They're gone. Oop, be careful. I almost cut through the fabric itself. Hey, Lori.
Uh-huh.
Oh, actually, I was talking to the other Lori.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. You can see your corner marks, or you can barely see them, but just get those in the corner the best you can. Oh, and look at, there are my leather. Those go down. There we go. And I am going to tape this. And they just had you tape it on the very top and the very sides. This is my transport, the same pieces I've been using this whole time, although I'm short one. There's a puppy here. Maybe you could leave the green thread in to make those corner marks. I'm thinking they will get, yeah, those corner marks, because you can't see the black very well. You don't see that very well. So Lynn was saying maybe you could just leave the green in there. That would kind of make more sense. Because I think those are, I don't think they're going to be within the circle. So we'll add some notes. We're going to see if maybe we should just do the black bobbin or if it doesn't make a difference. And we'll see if we should do a matching green bobbin or if that doesn't make a difference and the green just for laying it all down. Okay, stitch the coin base tack down line. It's going to just stitch right around that center. Okay. Hang on, I got to cut. I think my bobbin just ran out. Let me just throw in another neutral color. Ooh. It's its second go around, so I am just going to start stitching. I didn't go back any stitches. Oh, really? That was really just one stitch away? Okay. Directions say trim the coin base fabric close to the stitch And then we're going to stitch the cauldron handle placement lines, and we're going to stitch that in a color that you can see, so something other than black. So we are going to trim this. So go ahead and trim right around that. Getting my double curved. Hopefully I'm grabbing the sharp hair and not the dull ones. These look sharp. Oop, that was a little too close. Okay. All right. And then let's do the cauldron handle placement lines. I think these get totally covered over. I can't remember. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine because they're going to be underneath. Why don't I just go ahead and do mine in green? I'm going to do them in this. You're going to stitch your cauldron handle placement lines, and then we're going to place the cauldron handles along the placement line as shown. So it's kind of like on the edge. And we'll put some tape down. I'm going to grab some Kimberbell tape because I feel like it's not quite as sticky as the transport tape, but I'm going to cut this in half. And let's get my handles. Look at your handles and make sure they're the prettier side up. Oh, mine's gorgeous on both sides. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm just going to lay them down. Here we go. Cauldron handles. I'm going to put them right to those green stitches. And it kind of wanted you to have the tape going down the middle of this. And it's going to be stitching them down. It stitches it down like right on the edge. Here. Where's my other piece of tape? Here we go. I'm kind of covering just that little stitch over. Wonder if this is far down enough. All right. That's mine, just like that. I'm like right on the edge. And now it's going to stitch the cauldron handle tack down line. Carefully remove the tape. Here we go. Whoops. All right, mine's already moved. So hang on. Maybe I need the transport. I want to make sure it's getting it. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna put my hand. Oh, you know what I didn't do though? You need it black, and I left my green in there. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and cut. I'm gonna put my black, and I'm gonna stitch right over those. Let me take out my green thread. I'm going to put my black in. Sorry, I didn't tell you to change your color. Hopefully you thought of that. Black Sharpie, Lynn says. I'm going to stitch over it too. It'll cover it over a little bit, and I can always use the Sharpie, or else we can just live with it. Maybe I'll throw some coins over it. So to go back, I'm just going to hit that. That goes forward, that goes back. And you can tell it's right where it needs to be. It's going to go to the other side. Hopefully that, I'm going to throw down a piece of transport just to make sure it doesn't budge. There we go. And it's stitching just that edge. Perfect. It was perfect. Okay, you should have a piece of wash away topping in your kit too. So you're going to grab that next. Stitch the cauldron handles down, carefully remove all the tape. So we're going to remove the tape. And I'm probably going to Sharpie that. Oh, look, there's my Sharpie right here. Oh, perfect. Looks amazing. You would have never have even known. Okay, so make sure this isn't wet. When I did this the first time, I had soaked this and I put down my topper and my topper just disintegrated. So we're just going to put this down just so it like covers the handles and stuff. And let's go ahead and maybe tape it in the, I'm going to tape mine in the corners. I'm going to use my transfer tape because it's the stickiest and it's the easiest and it's the best. Kind of stretch it out a little bit just to and it says place the wash away topping covering the entire project tape in place. Stitch the cauldron rim placement line. Do not tear away the topping at this time. So it's going to go right around the rim. We're going to make sure that the foot doesn't push up because it gets a little thick going over this stuff. Let's go ahead and it wants you to have the black still in there. So we're going to go ahead and stitch around the rim. Now it wants you to place the cauldron rim felt covering the placement line and tape in place. So you should have that bigger piece of felt. And I am going to give them a little bit of tape right in the corners. Where is my tape? There you are. And I'm going to raise my foot height a little bit because this is going to be a little thick. I put in my notes that I raised it up to 0.1. For this step, let's see. Let me come over here, go into our settings, our foot height. That's going to be right here. I lowered it down and then I lowered it to 0.8. Let's try 0.1. All right, black is in there. We are on step 18. This is step number 18. I raised my foot height to 0.1. You just don't want that foot dragging everything around. And 0.1 looks good for this part. And then we're going to trim this, only the felt. You don't want to trim any of the layers below it, including the, and I think we should put that black bobbin in. Because I see a little bit of pin dotting with my stuff. So maybe here, I'm also going to add matching black bobbin. So use matching black bobbin. Okay, use a matching black bobbin, raise your foot height to 0.0 for that step. And it says trim the felt along the outer tack down line. So we're going to go ahead and trim it. I do see a little pin dotting from my yellow bobbin that I put in there before. And it said take the tape off just from the felt. Don't trim that topper underneath. Okay. For me, so that was trim only along the outer tack down. Be careful not to cut any layers beneath the felt, including the topping. Trim inside of the inner tack down, close to the inner stitch line. Be careful not to cut anything else. So now we're cutting inside. What we're leaving is just that little rim. And if it feels really thick, stop and investigate. You should feel like you're cutting through one layer of felt. I know we've all had those times where you're like, wow, that feels kind of unusually thick. And then you're cutting through something else you shouldn't be cutting through. Or maybe that's just me. Been there, done that. Yeah. I was thinking that happened to other people. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. That doesn't look totally even. Okay. So this is what we have. So it should look something like that right now. Kind of like a little tire. That was this step right here. Now it says stitch the gold coin placement line. And I put down here, lower your foot to 0.08. I don't think I needed it quite that high, so I lowered it at this point. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. 0.08. Stitch the gold coin placement line. So I'm going to slide this on. I'm going to change my thread out. Change your upper thread. I still already have like a yellowish gold color in my bobbin, which will be perfect for this part. If you have black in there, I would take the black out so you don't see the black on top. Maybe I'll just add in here that I'm going to match my bobbin. Match bobbin. Oops. All right, this is going to be your gold coin placement line. 0.08, that's correct. Because you need it a little higher, but not quite all the way to the 0.1. And you're going to be getting your bigger piece of leather. We used the smaller one on the other coin section, and now we're going to get the bigger one. Hopefully you can find it. Oh, here's mine. Oh, Sully, you got your puppy? Getting a little bit of puppy love right now?
Yeah, he's a little nervous. I think my husband's moving furniture, so he's all jumping on me. So I'm just holding him a little bit.
So you got to get your puppy love. So here's your piece of leather. You're just going to lay it down over here. Make sure it's covering everything. You can peek underneath and make sure it's covering everything left and right and up and down. I'm just to that edge there. Let me see this way. I wonder if my coverage is better this way. Yeah, I'm going to go this way. All right. And I'll go ahead and just put a little bit of tape just on the corner. And then you'll remove the tape just from the leather. So we're stitching it down right now. This is step number 11 on our stitch out. You can always check on your screen just to make sure you're in the right spot too. And here I am, step 11 out of 13. Because sometimes I get confused. I'm like, am I where I'm supposed to be? Is this my step? I really love that Kimberbell has at the top is like the steps that you're on in the whole project. And down below, those are what steps you're on the stitch out. So I really think they've thought of everything. Then you're going to trim these. So go ahead and do the tack down. And then you're going to trim around each coin. All righty, I was just cleaning out my jar because it was my rinse jar, but it's going to be my project jar too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim this, and then we're going to do the placement line for the gold coins. It says remove the tape just from the leather. Here we go. Trim your leather. Are those my not sharp ones? Oh yeah. I need to just give those to Patrick right now to sharpen. Okay, I heard somebody came in and told me that Kimberbell is discontinuing their glitter and their leather. Is that true? Did you guys hear that too? Because that would make me really sad. What I love about the Kimberbell leather is it's like the thinnest that I've found. Like I have bought other embroidery leathers and it's like it's super thin, which I really like. What have other people heard? Because I'm never in the know. And then I thought, ooh, do I have to hoard everything? Do I have to buy like tons of it? The aqua leather. Okay. I knew about that. And that makes me sad because that aqua color is like the prettiest. So I did know about that one. So hopefully it's not all of them. If they do. They have it in brand new, like they had it in Save the Date. And I called my rep. I go, well, this is what is in there. And now you guys aren't going to carry it anymore. So I was sad. Should I keep this? Okay, who would keep this and who would throw it away? Because I need my therapy. So Heather and Asuli said they would keep it. So it's not just me. I'm not the only one. Okay. Lynn said keep it because they might not have it anymore. And if they didn't, I'd be like, remember that piece I threw away when we were doing the pot of gold jar topper? All right. I think I'm good. We're going to go ahead and put this back under. I mean, look how cute these coins are, all layered like that. Put it back under. You're going to do the placement for your gold glitter ones. And I already pulled, if you didn't do it yet, pull off that protective coating. This is the bright gold from Sizer. So we're going to do our placement. We're going to put down the glitter. We're going to do our tack down, and then we're going to trim. And after that, we'll remove all the tape and all the excess topping. Yeah, I think maybe they just can't source it, right? Why that color's so great. I have another one that I found, but it's not quite as bright, but I think it's going to be my go-to substitute. Okay, I'm going to give this a little shot of spray so I can just lay it down. And let's just put this down like that. So beautiful. Okay. Do your tack down. And before I forget, after we're done with this stitching, we're going to lower our foot height back to the default. You never want to have it too high for your project. 0.8 is good for this because we've got a lot of different layers. If you've got your glue gun, we're going to be using that soon too. You might as well heat it up.
Do we have to use iron after this glitter too, or no?
Can you say that one more time?
And do we have to use the iron for this glitter or no?
I don't know if it's telling us to iron. I'm not seeing it. So, I'm not seeing it, Asuli. Not that you can't. I wonder if it's there's just too much stuff there. It doesn't want you to use the iron on. But I am plugging in my glue gun circa 1988. Isn't it funny when you look at your craft stuff and you're like, I've had that a long time. Okay, we're finished with the embroidery. I'm going to go ahead and just move this back a little bit. Let's trim it up. Trim around the glitter, it says. Hard to see because it's gold on gold, but just do your best. Just do your best. So taut. Gorgeous. There we go. Sometimes you just have to cut between it just to kind of release some of that tightness. There we go. Cute. Okay, so my coins are trimmed. It says remove all the remaining tape, tear away the excess topping from the outer and inner part of the cauldron. So I'm going to get rid of the tape and I'm getting rid of the topper. And also from the inner part too. This is a good time for your tweezers. If you want to like right here, I have a little piece of topper. I just want to rip it off. And then we're going to get in here too. Looks adorable. I don't want to use I don't want to use water. So I'm going to just kind of get this topper. So I don't want to have to wait for it to dry. I'm going to be putting some coins down too. You have all those extra coins. I think I pretty much got it all. What's that? That looks like a little piece I didn't cut. Okay. So here is my little base and it's looking pretty spiffy. So remove the project. So I went ahead and did this, remove the project from the hoop, trim the background fabric and stabilizer close to the decorative background tack down line. So I'm going to trim it close to the green line. Be careful not to cut the cauldron handles because they stick out a little bit. Turn the project to the back and trim any thread tails. So I'm going to pop this out. Oh, there we go. I'm going to trim around this green. Being careful not to cut the decorative stitch or the cauldron handles. We don't. Patrick's looking for an 8x8. Just like that. So I'm pretty close to that. Turn to the back, trim any threads that you need to. Oh, how about that? I don't think we cut through the back. Don't cut through that. I don't really care about any of these back threads right now. So I'm not going to trim them up. Carefully rinse the project to remove the excess topping. I pulled away all my topping, so I'm not going to get this wet anymore. Use a cotton swab around the edge of the project to dissolve any remaining topping. Set aside to dry. This is the embroidered jar topper base. All right. Next page. Be sure the dimensional felt legs from part 1 and the embroidered jar topper base from part 3 are fully dry. Mine are dry. Have both close by for assembly. Fold the embroidered jar topper base along the inner opening with the halves that has the most coins facing you. That's going to be the ones with the most coin. I thought that was let's look at it now. So it's this one. That's the most coins. And it wants you to kind of squeeze it like this. And we're going to put hot glue along the entire inside of the lower opening. This is the lower opening right here. So we're going to put a bunch of glue in there. And then we're going to insert, make sure you have the right side of these, right? That's going to be my right side. But it looks so good on both sides. It's hard to tell because we did such a good job bringing up our bobbin thread. So we're going to put a bunch of glue right in here and underneath the lower lip, not up here, but under here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to slip it down in there. Just so, slip it down as far as you can put it to cover over those bottom lines right there. So let's read a little more before we go ahead and do that. With the hot glue until the leg placement guides are no longer visible. And you're going to hold in place until the glue has set, while avoiding getting the glue in the upper part of the opening and avoiding getting burnt, ladies. Good luck with that one. I feel like every time I use my glue gun, I burn myself. Stand the legs upright if needed and lift the edge of the upper opening to help the legs stand up. So let's go ahead. My glue gun has been heating up. I'm over here. I'll move my bubbly water. Here we go. Keep that jar with water close by just in case you stick your face. I don't know what it is. I always, you know what? The glue doesn't go where I want, and I just can't resist the urge to touch it. So you want more of the coins in the, doesn't this look just beautiful? It looks so good. Okay, we are putting it here in the lower lip. And then we're going to take our legs and shove them in. Make sure you have them the right side. There we go. Rena, I'm plugged in. Here we go. Don't get it in the other part. Okay. Time is of the essence. Because we're using hot glue and it's never I was just telling them how I always burn myself. Okay. I don't feel like I got my thing on all the way. Oh man. I need something. This is what I need. If you have something, you can kind of shove it down in there. There we go. Oh my goodness. That is just the best. And it said kind of fold these up in the back to kind of hold your little, he's looking good. Patrick's laughing. Patrick's laughing at me. Okay. Did I get it? Did I get those legs down there? You can't see the little lines. So I think you need to be prepared with something that you can use as your third finger that will not get burnt. I was engaging in some risky behavior there just now.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So this said with, and what was the other name?
We're almost done.
Okay.
Yes. Jeannie Brown. Upright if needed, lift the edge of the upper opening to help the legs stand. So you're going to lift them to make them stand. Yes. Look at that. Lift that upper opening. Using the hot glue to attach the dimensional coins from part 2 around the project as desired. So now you're going to grab those other ones and you're going to put them wherever you want to put them. I don't want to cover over my glittery coins. So let's see. Oh, but they look so good too. Where should we put that? I'm going to put them around. Maybe I'll put a set back here. Oh, because they do look fun because they're dimensional. Maybe I'll put a set right there. I'm going to put some right there. I'm going to put it right behind here. So it's going to wedge that leg up a little bit. I should probably have tweezers. And you know what else I need? I need that silicone tool set but we sold out of them. I'm going to put some right here just to kind of push my legs up. There we go. Tweezers. There. I just love the coins that are there. I don't want to cover them too much. We're just kind of playing. I'm going to put a set right here, just like that. Ooh, it's on my fingernail. I'm using mine as like leg assist. One right. Oh, I forgot you have handles here. Don't forget about your little handles. Don't want to cover. So I'm just going to put those on for now. All right. Where's the book? I didn't even use all my coins. Place the jar lid under the project right side up and place it under the jar band placement line. And then we're going to place a jar band over, inserting the project through the center of the band. And we're going to lay the cauldron handles over. So let's get my, where's my, we're going to put them over. We're going to put this over, get those legs in there. Don't forget those cauldron handles have to go up, hook them up. There's my handle. There he is. Get your cauldron handles up. I have to do that again. I'm going to bend them over. This is always the tricky part, right? There's my handle. Okay. I got both my handles. I am a base. There we go. So we don't really see the green at all. I would definitely recommend that matching bobbin for that like stitch out part. The for the cauldron, the like little band that looked like a tire. And I need real gold coins for in here, don't I? Because we need something fun. What do people put in this jar? And then I can go ahead and add the rest of my little coins. And that is it. That and my legs are still, but they're pretty perky. I've got some perky little leprechaun legs there. And I assisted it. Like I kind of like built around it to kind of like make those go up that way. And this is going to be your jar topper. We're not going to be doing, just because of the time, we're not going to be doing the tag, but the instructions are all right here. And you have everything for the tag as well, including your stabilizer, your topper, and your leather. So you're ready to go. And I did include, I I try to include some like twine too. I wanted it to be nice and thick, but it wasn't as thick as I wanted it. But there's some twine in there, so you can go ahead and you can put your little tag on and make it super cute. I'll see if I have a chance this weekend, and maybe I'll just film that little tag really quickly, and I'll put these coins on there as well. And that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed it. This is our pot of gold jar topper. Any questions?
Thank you, Jeannie. That was
Thank you.
great.
Thank you so much. Michelle's going to be doing next month, and I'll be doing the month after. She and I are alternating, so I'm glad to be stitching this with you again. So have a great night. Thanks for joining me, and I would love to see you post your. I'd love to see you post your little jar toppers, and I don't know whatever you put inside of them. Yes.
Where did you get the tiny jars?
Oh, so these are cur jars. So these are, I think you get them wide mouth, and I think I maybe ordered them on like Amazon or something like that. But these are going to be the short ones, and then you can get the tall ones too. If
Amazon
you're
has them.
Amazon has them, yeah.
Amazon
Yep.
has.
Yeah, and these are the cur ones. All right, have a great night.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you,
Thanks
Jeannie.
so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Jeannie.
You're
This
welcome.
was so much fun. Thank you.